Well, it's Thursday, and you know what time it is. It is time for the United Hour. Some very interesting topics, but you already know the main topic. And you know what? Eric Ten Haag. That's all I got to say. Potentially the new Manchester United manager. Who knows? But we'll discuss this on today's program, the United Hour. Big Phil here on this lovely Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well, and welcome to the United Hour. Well, probably one of the worst kept secrets is Manchester United are going after Ajax coach Eric Ten Haag to be the new Manchester United manager, right? And we'll dive deeper into this sort of conversation that has been going on for the last couple of days. Here to join me is Devin in Tampa and also Robert in Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody on this panel is in a different part of the world. How are you
Mhm.
guys doing?
Yes, doing great, and good evening to everybody right now. It's nice to see some sun coming out here again at this time because normally it's dark by this time out here. So definitely happy for that. Excited with the news right now with Ten Hag, and so we shall see what happens. But fingers crossed that it does work out positively in our favor.
Yeah,
What's going on,
yeah.
Robert?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Just here in Trinidad, enjoying the fresh air and the sun. You know how it is. You know.
Well, I got one of those, and it's not sun. I can tell you it's fresh air for sure, right? That's all I got, right? So, but no. Things are heating up a bit on the manager front with regards to us getting a potential new manager, and the person who is at the front of the line is Ajax coach Eric Ten Hag. Um, before we get into this, are you guys surprised, or you guys would have preferred somebody else? I'll start with you, Devin.
So I am actually surprised in the sense that it seems that the club is making the right decision for once because it's felt like for the past couple of years now that we say we want X and Y done, and they go ahead and do the complete opposite of that. Where I know it seemed like people were on the fence now between him and Pochettino. It was no secret, pretty much, that it was between those two. Personally, my personal feeling is that they went for Ten Hag because of how much it would cost financially to get Pochettino now, and Ten Hag will be cheaper. But at the end of the day, Ten Hag is the guy who I wanted from the beginning. I always said that I don't believe Pochettino would be a serial winner. I think he can. He is kind of like almost like an Ole role where he can mentor players, he can lead them to the mountain, but he can't get them over the mountaintop. I think Ten Hag will be the guy for this, but he's going to need time to implement his system. So now that is my biggest worry right now. Will he get the correct time to implement the system? Because if not, then it's going to be the same issue all over again with the roller coaster with managers. And you have all these players that came in under different managers who are different philosophies, and they don't know how to play with each other, and we'll end up in the same circle all over again. Time will tell, though.
No, true, definitely agree. Robert, according to ESPN, Man United are looking to finalize Eric Ten Hag to the club. Um, is this something that you're excited about, or was there somebody else in particular you wanted per se?
No, no, no. I was always in favor of Ten Hag. Because I think what we need is some kind of a plan, and I think with Ralph and then with him, I think there's a plan in place. Before, since Ferguson left, there was never a plan. There was just we were just reacting to things. There was no plan. So I think this is a plan, and I think what we need is again patience. I don't know how much patience we will give him because our fans are very fickle. Win today and and everyone is happy. We lose, and everyone just just goes crazy. So I think we need to trust the process. You know, and I think that once everything is done the right way, I think we will see some great things in our future. I think so.
Now, what you said, Robert, is great, and there's a p word I want to touch on, which is patience. Right now, most of the fan base isn't like you, Robert. Right? Most of the fan base want results from yesterday. Right? But most of the fan base doesn't realize that Liverpool gave Klopp a chance, and look where Liverpool are now. Pep Guardiola never won
Mm,
anything in his
mm,
first season at Manchester City. I love what Manchester City are doing right now, right? But most fans that are Manchester United are looking at what Tuchel did with Chelsea, right? They're saying that Tuchel was hired immediately in
mm.
January, and all of a sudden, Tuchel won the Champions League with Chelsea, and then Tuchel went on to win. What else? Did he win the FA Cup? No, I think he got beat by
No,
penalties.
It was just Champions League.
no,
Oh,
yeah,
it was
that
just
was it.
Champions
Yeah,
League,
that
okay.
was it.
But
Yeah,
but at
that was
least
it.
Tuchel has them in a better position than Frank Lampard, right? Now,
Mm,
I'm willing to be patient if I can see that within the next 3 to 5 years, Man United are competing with the likes of Liverpool and Man City, or even better above them, right? Because in the next 3 to 5 years, Klopp and Pep Guardiola aren't going to be at their respective clubs, right? When you say patience, Robert, how
mm,
long are we talking? That's because for me, I know the time frame that I'm willing to give Eric Ten Hag if he's hired. Right? I'm not going to be on his back after 3 months, 4 months. Right? But there's somebody out there who's probably like half our age who just probably started following Man United. What can you tell
mm.
me in terms of a timeline?
Um, I don't, I don't know. I mean, it's very hard, because I think again, since 2013, we had no plan. I think if we had a plan by now, we'll be seeing the benefits of the plan.
Correct.
Fact that we went through what, ten
Four man,
years,
four managers, yeah.
right? Because right, 10 years, because 2013 to now, yeah. So about 10 years and four managers and so much things happened. I don't the people who would have had patience, I think they are just gone. So any fans that are coming in now, unfortunately, they won't have any.
But
So
you still have patience, Robert. So you're still here.
uh, I mean, I am here because it's like where will I go? I can't go nowhere. I can't leave. I'm here. We are here for the long haul. But those fickle fans, those fair weather fans, the people who come and go, they want to stay. We will stay,
That's
but
fine.
they
Let
want to
them
stay.
let them go. Let them go. We don't
Yeah.
need them.
Hmm.
It's that easy as that.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
can't have the patience, it's if you can't support somebody at their worst, don't be anywhere near
Hmm.
them when they get back to their best. So it's the same thing I've been saying this whole time is if you're sticking by your team throughout all this and whatnot too, it's you. I know that you are a true fan by this point because you could have very
Mm.
easily gone and disobeyed what Eric Cantona said and gone and changed your football club, but you still stuck by it, and so that shows a lot about your loyalty, your character as well too.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
I definitely agree. I'm going to go through the few comments that are here right now. Um, Good afternoon to Martin and Phillip. Always the first to comment, man. Appreciate it, man. And President Chad is saying that Tuchel also won the Club World Cup, which is true. He did.
Hmm.
And then also Mark Lewis is saying, well, I hope Ten Hag is given the time to do a proper rebuild, right? Um, I'm not going to lie, guys. I think for the first time, the fan base is united over a manager that they actually want. Right? Think about it. I think most fans wanted Pep Guardiola right after Sir Alex Ferguson left, right?
Mhm.
Nobody saw Louis Van Gaal coming, right? The entire fan base was split between for Jose Mourinho, right? And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, same thing as well. This is actually the first time I've seen most of the. And don't get me wrong, there are fans out there that still prefer Pochettino, right? But you know what? Those fans that prefer Pochettino aren't against Eric Ten Hag, if you know what I mean, right? This is actually the first time I've seen most of the United fan base united for Eric Ten Hag, right? Um, with regards to Eric Ten Hag as number one, he's going to have to bring in a number two as well, too, right? Devin, have you heard any names that could be a potential number two if Ten Hag is hired?
So I've heard one name in particular, another name in a couple sources right now, and both of them were actually former assistants of Sir Alex. So I know Robert right now. The second hearing any ties to Sir Alex, you don't like it anymore. You say it's time to move on. I already know. I already know what's coming.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
first name, of course, a former England manager, Steve McLaren. Some of you probably remember him for when he did his fake Dutch accent when he was managing in the Netherlands.
Mhm.
But he was the assistant there under Sir Alex when we won the treble. So there is that. So he does know the club. He does warrant a certain amount of respect. The other one, he was an assistant actually when we last won our Champions League. Renee Muhlenstein. So I think both options could be something very good. I think they both tried their stints at actually managing and did not do too well, but they proved their worth as assistant managers, and I think that could be something very beneficial. So I personally really don't have an issue with either one coming in as an assistant, but I do think we need to change the staff from what we have right now.
Was Robin Van Persie's name tooted as well?
So from what I've been reading about that is if they come in, he's gonna want a goalkeeping coach. He's gonna want a forwards coach. I've been hearing things about potentially Van Persie coming in to be the forwards coach, which I don't think any Man United fan will have any issues with that, considering
I'm
he
good.
considering he's pretty much the reason why we won our last Premier League title. So if it does happen, great. But it's one of those where I won't get my hopes up, but I hope I'm pleasantly surprised.
Robert,
Mhm.
René Milestein, and also what's the other name you called Devin?
Steve McLaren.
Steve
Steve
McLaren.
McLaren.
Yeah. And any of those
Mm.
names seem similar to you, and is it are any of those names number twos to you?
No, because again, I Devin said it correct. I am tired of this backwards looking thing. I am tired. I mean, we need to move forward. I would prefer if Ten Hag is allowed to pick his number two. Let the man pick his number two. Let him pick who who he wants to bring, and then bring them. Pay the money and bring them. I mean, yes, Steve McLaren was there when we won the treble, right? That was back in 1999, right? How many of us was still playing with GI Joes at that time? I was.
And
Right? No,
Pokemon
no,
cards in
no.
the whole
Yeah,
lot.
yeah, yeah. Right. No. Look, I don't. I have a real problem with 'cause I don't think we are learning from our mistakes. I don't think we are. I think we still on this boys club thing, and I think we need to stop with the boys club.
So
We need to.
is there a name you had in mind, or is just basically let Ten Hag do his thing?
No, I let Ten Hag do his thing.
Correct.
He
Yeah.
knows the people that he likes to you know people that he have on his list. Let him pick his list. Let him pick his staff, because it doesn't make sense to have him come in and then you are telling him now, well, you have to work with this guy, and you have to work with this guy, and you have to work with this guy, and these people just don't mesh. The thing with McLaren and Ferguson at the time is that they meshed, they worked
Correct.
well together,
Correct.
and that was Ferguson's guy. That was his guy. I mean, we should give Ten Hag the backing. I mean, if you're gonna back him in every
Correct.
way. Back him. Like, don't tell him. It's very similar with players. Let him decide. Who he wants to keep, who he wants to to move on. Let Ten Hag really come in here and do something, because or else we are just going to be in the same cycle of you know
Recycling managers, yeah.
right, and then we will end up next 2 years talking about how Hag out, and we back in the same cycle. You know.
So I'll give my 2 cents on the two topics we discussed: Eric Ten Hag being linked to United, and then on number two, I'll start at number two first. Um, it's almost similar to like there's a star, but the star isn't as good if their supporting cast isn't there, right? Um, if Eric Ten Hag is hired as United manager, give the guy what he wants, right? Because the reason we're after Ten Hag is because what he's done in the past, right? The reason he is being touted as the next Manchester United manager is not only because of what he's done solely as a manager, but who was around him that helped him to succeed, right? So, as Robert said, give Eric Ten Hag who he wants and what he wants, right? I'm being told that he's going to be given a very large budget, but I'm also being told that Eric Ten Hag doesn't need that much of a budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of scary, but still kind of exciting at the same time for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with Eric Ten Hag being to Manchester United, um, very excited. I think he's probably one of the managers I've been following since probably 2018, 2019. I've seen what he's done with Ajax with regards to Eredivisie and obviously Champions League as well too, right? So definitely excited to see what he can do. He works well with bringing through youngsters, and he's definitely a great coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
A topic that I want to slightly add before, actually, no, let's go through the comments first, and then I'll add a subtopic per se, right? And it involves Donny Van de Beek. But anyway, Mark Lewis. Oh yeah, for sure. Let the plastic
Go
fans.
along, go along.
Yeah, go on. But my fear mark is that when United go back to the winning ways, then they're gonna come back, right? They're gonna
Mm-hmm.
come back and create all these social media accounts with Ten Hag forever and
Yeah.
Ten Hag more than science or Alex Ferguson. And these are the stupid ass accounts that we'll probably expect in the future if Ten
Well,
Hag
let
is.
them, let them, let them go. Let them go. The true fans will know which ones to follow. So let them try.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that.
I agree. Martin is saying, gentlemen, going forward, I think the new manager should get at least 3 transfer periods so he can really get the players he wants. Yeah, yeah. This summer, 2023 winter and 2023 summer. Yeah, for sure. I can work with that. I can definitely work with that. Right. Valentino saying good evening to you as well too, buddy. Good evening. Mark is saying correct. Um, let him come with the staff he trusts and comfortable with. I definitely agree, right? We don't want to hire Ten Hag and then force him to work with like 3 or 4 personnel that he's not comfortable with, right? So President Chad is saying, why do you think Ten Hag wouldn't be making those choices? It's his choice, not the club's. You mean
Because
in terms of
yeah,
making his his number two?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's a good question. By the end of the day, we all know some of these top clubs kind of force personnel and players into your squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hint Donny Van de Beek instead of Jack Grealish, right, as a transfer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Mark Lewis is also saying for real, right? Now, the next top I have is potential players arriving, right? And I don't know if this is a joke or whatever, but can we see Donny Van de Beek arrive at Manchester United if Eric Ten Hag is manager?
So I think he deserves he deserves a proper chance, especially under Ten Hag, especially with through that Ajax system. So I would give him to the January transfer window to see if he's truly worth it. If not, then it would be time to cut the losses, I think.
I definitely agree. And before I go to you, Robert, when I say arriving, arriving could mean so many things, right? The word arriving could mean like new players coming in from different clubs, or new players actually given a chance to start or prove themselves,
Mhm.
or new players or current players reinventing themselves, right? So take it as you see, Robert. Do you see any new players, I guess, arriving per se?
Um, yeah, because Donny hope, but Donny is the hope. You know, I think like certain players may flourish. You know, like I think people like Fred may they may be even better. I mean, it could be. I mean, you can never know. I think it. I mean, if he's given um the funds, I think people like Scott, you know, they will find their, well, at least their place, because they won't be they won't be starters, what I mean, but they'll be very very good bench players now, you know
Correct.
um I think like the youths like Ilanga, I think they would be happy to see, to see him come and to show off. I
Yeah,
think he
winner.
may, yeah, I think he may actually take Bruno and, give him some control. 'Cause I think Bruno has his way. He likes to just roam and just do whatever he wants. And I think Ten Hag may be able to get him to just to play a role and say, this is your role and this is what you do. You know what I mean? And I think, some players may see it as a blessing. And then, of course, some players will see it as a curse. But, I think it if it's one thing, if he does come, and if he does, again, if he brings in his people, this will be the first year I'll be very 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 intrigued. I'll be very excited to see, how things go. I'll be very it gives you like a newfound hope, I guess, which we haven't had it in a while.
With me now come next season, I want to see how the first 15 games are going to shape out, right? I
Mm,
want to see how certain players are going to adjust to Ten Hag's new philosophy, right? But Robert took it from the perspective of, players arriving, as in, current Man United players that are at the club already or are on loan as well too, right? What about players arriving who are coming from different clubs, Devin? Any potential one or two players you could see Ten Hag going for?
So, well, it's a name that I think's been going around United for a couple of years now. Ruben Neves. From what I am reading, it's that Ten Hag is a big admirer of him and that he wants to make him his priority signing. Now, I read today Wolves quoted 100 million price tag for him right now.
mm,
So, depending on how true that is, we shall see. We'll see how like we'll see like what offer United comes in with. But there's only certain clubs. I mean, if you get a decent enough offer for them, there's I think eventually there's gonna be a point where they have to just finally say, you know what, we got to cash in now. Because
mm,
do I think they're gonna get the 100 mil for him? No. Um, I think at most they'll be lucky. They'll be lucky if they get 60 mil for him. Um,
mm,
but just gotta
But
tip the offer and see what happens.
did the club value him, or did the coach value him? I think it was the coach. The
So
coach said that he's worth
he
100
said
mil.
something about like yeah, about 100 mil, and then have to temper with that. So we shall see what happens. But I've been an admirer of Ruben Neves for a few seasons now. So I think that he was slotting well. Um, it's we didn't really talk about the loan signings coming back. Um, I want to see James Garner get a proper run out as well too.
Okay.
Mm.
No, no, well said. Um, Now, with regards to players performing and then players leaving as well, to know, obviously there are a group of players that, in my opinion, will be leaving and should be leaving. So you're like Pogba, Lingard, Mata, Matic. Maybe actually no. Let me not mention that name as yet. I'll stick with those four. Right?
Mm.
Is there? I can start with Robert, and I know that Robert speak on this one. Is there a chance that Harry Maguire could be transformed into a better defender under Ten Hag? And are you willing to give him another
Or a
shot?
chance.
Yeah,
Um, I I don't know because I think Harry Maguire is a good defender for a certain kind of team. I think if a team is playing that low block, that counter attack football, the way how England plays with four in the back and two CDMs, Harry will shine in those kind of teams. But you ask Harry to do the to play a high line, to play on the front foot. That is when he will get found out. I don't think he will suit what he's doing, but he won't the club won't sell him because the club won't sell him. They won't. I don't think that the club will allow Ten Hag to sell Harry and certain players. I think Ten Hag will have to stick with him and see how best he can get Harry to play. But I don't think that there's any real um future for Harry. He could be a good backup. So like if you play in the so like I guess if you play in the like FA Cup, League Cup, you can bring Harry in for that. But like the Premier League and what Ten Hag wants to do, but then again,
I
he
I
may
I I,
come
I
and
got
do something
I got to
very well.
admit, and I was just about to say that
He may.
I am so far to the left with
Mhm,
Harry Maguire, Robert, and you probably are the same thing as well, too, right? It's gonna
mhm.
probably take a miracle for
Yeah.
somebody to pull me back to the
Right.
right
Mhm,
for me to say, you know what, Harry Maguire is actually a decent defender.
Yep.
mhm.
Um, do you think, because we mentioned Donny van de Beek, let's go to Eric Bailly, who I still think, when fit, is Man United's best defender after Varane. Do you think Eric Bailly should leave or Eric Bailly should stay at the club if Ten Hag is appointed?
That's
Because I was gonna mention him as the fifth person, right? Because I mentioned Lingard, Mata, Matches, and Pogba, right? Those four definitely.
I thought you were gonna say somebody else for the fifth, but
No, it was Bailly. I was gonna mention Martial as well too, but we'll get to Martial later, right? But for Eric
Mm.
Bailly, should he stay or
so
go?
it's another one of those where he needs to have a legitimate talk with the manager, figure out what's gonna happen with like a preseason, figure out if he's in the manager's plans or not. And to me, I think that is a big factor in whether or not he should stay or go. It's you said it already. He is a good defender when fit.
Yeah,
The biggest issue with everybody, and everybody knows it, is his injury record. Like he can come out and he could have an incredible match. Next match he comes in and then he gets injured and he's out for weeks again at a time. So it's if he could get that worked on and improved, it's yeah, it's I would like to see him if he can stay healthy.
Robert. Last name
Mm.
I'll push towards you is Tony Martial. But before you start, I'll just get a few comments in here. Martin is saying that, and I guess this was in regards to Donny van de Beek.
Hmm.
He said yes, he will be back. He knows the system, right? True. And then Kevin Cave, welcome, buddy. He's saying Robert with the knowledge regarding Maguire. Yep, true, 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 true,
Mhm.
true.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so far we talked about Donny Van de Beek, we talked about Maguire, we've talked about everybody. Robert, what's your thoughts on Martial possibly given a shot if Eric Ten Hag is hired as manager? Should he stay or should he leave?
No, no, no. I think they are. I mean, I think okay. Like I know this is real life. Okay, this is real life. I mean, it's not FIFA, right?
True.
We can't go and just sell the whole team and buy a whole, like a whole new team. But I think there are certain players that need to be on the list to sell, and they need to be sold. All right, they need to be sold. They need to be moved on. And Martial is one of those players that needs to be moved on. He does. Like I don't think there's any future here for him. You know, because again, if we are gonna bring in a striker, then I don't see where Martial fits in. We are gonna have a striker, and we will still have Ronaldo. So I don't, and and who knows
All right, the
which
fifth, the
youth
fifth, the
may
fifth, the
come
fifth,
true.
the fifth person I should have mentioned, and it's obvious, is Edson Cavani as well too. So
Right.
yeah,
No, he's
So
gone. He's gone. He's out of contract. He's gone anyway. So,
yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
right.
in,
Yeah.
in, in my opinion, he's been mentally checked out all season. But that's
Yeah,
Mm,
that's for another topic for another time.
e- exactly. Exactly. But I think Martial just we just need to cash in on him. Like whatever we get for him, just take it. Just take it and go. Because to me, there's no space for him. There are players on this team that there's no more space again for. So
yeah.
he should just be
Um,
pass on.
True, true, true. I'll give my thoughts on the players that we just discussed, starting with Eric Bailly. Um, Similar to Donny Van de Beek, I would wait. I would wait my turn to be given a chance, and then I would give him until January. Right? If I'm Eric Bailly and I haven't wrapped up, let's say, I don't know, 10, 15 appearances by January, then I think it's time to move on. Right? Harry Maguire, miracle. Has to be a
Hmm.
miracle. You can pull me
Mm.
from the left to the absolute right on Harry Maguire being a decent defender. Cool. But other than that, most people already know my thoughts on Harry Maguire. Who was the next person? That's Martial. Martial
Mm.
boy. Shh. I don't know, boy. You
Bye,
played,
bye, bye.
yeah, yeah. You've played under so much managers, and you have been given a chance under some. You've been sulking under others, and I think you kind of got to cut your ties with England goodbye. Sorry, with Manchester goodbye, right? Where you go from there, who knows, right? But I definitely think that if we do bring in a quality striker, then Martial's days are done,
Send,
right?
send him to send him to Spurs. We'll cash for Harry Kane.
It's fun. It's funny because and this kind of will probably lead into another topic later on, which will be with regards to Rashford to PSG or Barcelona. I was actually telling a guy that if we swap Harry Kane for Marcus Rashford, I don't think that was a bad deal, right? Marcus Rashford is probably the poster boy for England, in my opinion. He's not performing. He hasn't been performing well this season, but he's still the poster boy for England with regards to what he's doing off of the pitch versus Harry Kane, who is probably England's best striker of the last 5 years, 6 years, right? So I think it will be a fair deal. But I was also pointed out that Harry Kane plays up top, Marcus Rashford doesn't. So Marcus Rashford back to goal will be inefficient, right? So yeah. Now I leave this. I leave this. Leave the floor open to one more topic with regards to transfers, and that's transfers coming in. Other than Ruben Neves, guys, who would you like to see Eric Ten Hag, if appointed, bring to Manchester United?
Well, we just mentioned one name just now, Harry Kane.
Yep. Robert, you
Mm.
for Harry Kane coming to United?
um, I
or are
don't
there
know.
better
I
options out there that you think?
I, I think okay, if we are buying Hurricane, he'll be 29. I think
Yes. Same
yeah,
age we bought Van Persie from Arsenal.
right. Now, yeah, you have to remember, right? You have to remember the system that Hurricane comes from. Do we have a son for Hurricane in our team? Do we?
Jaden
And
Sancho.
and well, right. So if we can get Sancho and him to link up together,
Hmm.
and if by some miracle we can get Rashford to pull himself out from himself,
Correct. Yeah.
then yes. But if it is that we are only buying Harry Kane just for the jerseys and for the Instagram and for the Twitter, then I say no. No. Like we you know, we we bought Ronaldo last year for the Instagram and the Twitter and I know and the shop. I love him. I love Ronaldo, but I know
And he boxer briefs as well too.
right. Yeah, you understand. But I don't want us to go and spend all our money behind Harry Kane, and then we are still left with Fred and Scott in the midfield. We need to fix our problems. To me, Harry Kane should be the icing on the cake. We should
So
bring in
are there any other players that you're thinking of that come to mind that
um
you'd like to see?
if you can bring in
Tielemans.
Yeah, Tillemans, Gravenbach, I believe that's his name.
Grafenberg, yeah, from Ajax,
Right,
but
right.
unfortunately, he might be on his way to Bayern Munich. So
Might, might,
Mike, yeah, true. Mike, yeah,
might.
true.
And again, if we, and this is what I'm saying, I find that we are moving very slow on Ten Hag because if we had gotten wrapped up weeks ago, he could have been working. We could have been, working on guys from weeks ago,
So
because every other
apparently, they're saying that obviously Ajax are what 1 or 2 points ahead of the second place team, and that
right,
the announcement of Ten Hag will only come at the end of the Dutch league, which is end of May. So
right,
it could be finalized within the next week or so, but
right.
the two clubs official website will
No,
probably make an
that's fine.
announcement at the end, right?
I have no problem with that, right? But by now we should have heard Fabrizio say, "Here
Correct.
we
Yep.
go,"
Yeah. True.
right?
I
And
agree.
then have things
I
moving.
as much as I would like to agree with you on that one, I
Hmm.
feel that's kind of disrespectful to Ten Hag because then that takes the focus off of what they're trying to do over at IX right now.
Hmm.
So who knows?
Right.
Maybe it is already done, and they are purposely doing this out of respect. Because remember,
Okay.
United and Ajax have a good relationship, especially with Van der
Hmm.
Sar running Ajax. So you don't want to burn
Yeah.
those bridges for any future plans as well.
No,
So
no.
I like who knows? Maybe in the background that yeah, he's mentioning those things here and there. But
Hmm.
I agree for now that his focus should be solely on
No, yeah,
helping
yeah, it
Ajax
should
win
be.
the title for now.
Yeah,
And you
it
should
should be.
he just gives a list when he has a chance, and you move on from that. Now, come
Yeah.
in May, he should already have his list of ideas of who we want to get, and
Yes.
the club should have already been working on that stuff in the background now as we speak. That,
Mm,
but don't be announcing
Perfect.
anything publicly yet.
no.
Yeah, as Devin said, we do have a great relationship. Ajax, and out of respect, we probably would announce that because don't get me wrong, a lot of things are going to happen on the last day of the English Premier League and also the Dutch League, right? A lot of United fans are going to be tuned into Ajax's last match with Ten Hag doing this here to the crowd.
Yeah.
We're doing that to the crowd, right? Um, but sticking on Ten Hag, right? We have discussed a lot so far in this last 40 minutes, right? I want to hear from both of you guys. What do you think are the main goals of Eric Ten Hag when it comes to the club? Right? What are the main goals?
So he's gonna want the club to, I think, to be more physically fit, um, to be more aggressive with the ball. I think those are and a better mindset because I think that we are lacking in all those areas, and I think that he's thinking the same as that too. where it's all right. Certain players are just not giving their full efforts as they could be. Certain players are backing out of tackles. Certain players aren't mentally strong enough to be like, okay, yeah, the chips are down right now, but we can still come through together. Like how we used to in the past and always score that last minute goal. We all remember Fergie time goals. We want to
Mm-hmm.
have that mentality back at the club. And so those will be the three things that I think will be the biggest focus for him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Before you go, Robert, I'm gonna probably give my 2 cents. I'll say two things, right, and then I'll add on later on after Robert. One of the main goals for Eric Ten Hag is to implement a philosophy into the starting 11, right? If it's implemented in the starting 11, it will then trickle down to the bench, which will then trickle down to the under 18s and the academy, right? That's just my opinion, one. And two, I think Ten Hag needs to find an established, let's say, 8 or 9 players to be in that starting 11 week in, week out, right? Because I think if I had to use Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as an example, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was chopping and changing players all the time. There were probably
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 players that were established, but the other 7 players were always like either on the bench or starter, right? That kind of confuses players, right? You don't know if you're going to start this week or next week, right? So just to go over again, a philosophy that can be implemented that can have us playing fluid football and establish 8 or 9 players that will adapt to his philosophy and stay disciplined to this philosophy, right? Um, you're up, Robert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because honestly, I'm not looking for us to win the EFA Cup or the Carling Cup. I'm not. My hope is that within the first 15 games, we actually see a way of playing. We
A
should
style of play, yeah.
see, right, we should see it. We should know this is what we do when we are on the attack. This is what we do when we are defending. Like, if we, when we get hit, I want to see how we react. Like, I want to see us 2-0 down in a game and see what we do. Because all of us remember, right? We all remember that game against Tottenham. It was 3-0 down in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
and we came back and won 5-3. I could tell you that game. I can tell you, in my mind, I was like, you know what? We lost. I was ready for all of the ridicule. But once that first goal went in, somehow I knew in my mind we were gonna we were gonna win. I knew it, and I think we need to find a way to get that back. We need to find a way because City will be behind, and you always know that they'll come back. Liverpool, they'll always come back. We need to get to that place where we always come back. I want to see Old Trafford become a fortress. That's what I want to see. I want by the time December comes around, teams should be afraid to come to or at least have a little tingle in their stomach to say, well, boy, we're going to play Manchester in Old Trafford. Because as it is right now, no one fears us, Nobody fears us. No one. Not one soul.
Not Brighton, not
Nope.
Watford, not Aston Villa. Nope,
Nope.
nobody
Nobody.
fears us.
Nobody.
Just
Nobody.
just to, just to put a little twist onto us conceding goals, right? So I'm reading a stat here that Ajax has only conceded 14 goals in 28 games,
Right.
right? And
Mm.
I can accept that at Manchester United. I can
Mm.
accept that. We only conceded 14 goals in 28 games. That's
Yeah.
perfect, right?
Mm.
Um, what else? What else? So we're discussing the main goals of Eric Ten Hag. If you're now tuning in, like always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the United Hour. Going into these last 15 minutes, we're going to talk about our match on the weekend versus Everton.
Why?
Now,
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't
Well,
want to.
we got
Sign me up.
we got to get it
I'm
done.
a I'm afraid. I
I was
am afraid.
not. I
I'm
was
very
not.
afraid.
I was asked to talk about it, so I'm going to
Mm.
talk about it,
Mm.
right? So, Everton are probably one of, if not the worst team in the EPL right now under Fat Frank.
Mm.
We're going to Goodison Park on Saturday. It'll be 7:30 my time. I think it'll be 7:30 your time as well, too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So we're
Yeah.
going. We're going to Goodison Park, and seeing the results that Arsenal and Chelsea had over the weekend. I'm not saying it gives me hope, but I'm like, okay, cool. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying cool. That's all I'm saying, right?
Mm. All right.
Um, the match versus Everton this weekend. What do you expect to happen? Because we didn't see CR start versus Leicester, right? Do you guys expect to see CR versus Everton this weekend?
Yes.
You do, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You share the same.
He's gonna need a couple of tune-up games. He's had a little bit of rest now. Um, he's gonna be coming off the high because Portugal qualified for the World Cup. This will give him a chance to, well, Everton right now we know are not doing well at all. This will give him a chance right now to boost his confidence going into the end of the season. Um, the man will try to do everything to win, even sometimes to the detriment of the team. But I do expect him to get a run out, and I also expect Rashford to get a proper look as well too.
What are your thoughts on the Everton game, Robert? CR starting or probably CR coming off of the bench?
No. He will start. He will start. My my fear is us. That's my fear. Who will show up on that game? Will it
True.
be the Manchester of last week or before that? And teams will play absolute shit for weeks, and then they will meet us, and then they will say, right, today is the day. All of a sudden, Richarlison will turn into prime
Prime
him,
Ronaldo.
prime.
And Calvert Lewin will come out and do something
All
great.
of a sudden, these men will just turn up. I mean, all of a sudden, Pickford will grow about 5 inches on each side. You know, I these things happen with us, and it's with us. It is these guys is just find a way to get hyped up for us because they
I tell you,
see us, as
the shit teams has played garbage before and after the fixture of Manchester
yeah,
United.
mm,
That's it.
yeah,
What
And,
other
yeah.
and you
what?
know, and you know for a fact that Lampard, especially with his history with Chelsea, is making sure that team is getting all hyped up and everything ready for
All
this.
of a sudden,
And so,
Lampard will,
yes,
yes,
all of a
he
sudden
will,
he gonna look like an incredible manager, and he could
he
probably
will,
break his hand again or something like that, celebrating or whatever.
yes,
Yes.
he will turn into Jose, into prime
Hmm.
Alex Ferguson. He will hit us
It's
in Fergie
it's
time.
and then I can tell you the other thing that scares me about this match
Mm.
is that, especially with them being 1 point outside the relegation zone,
Yeah.
I think some of these players now are starting to think about their future.
Mm, mm,
And
Oh,
so,
they ain't got nothing to lose.
but my point being with that, it goes on with what you're saying now too, is that some of these players are gonna know there's gonna be a massive audience and they're playing Manchester United, so they're gonna
right.
tune up their their
The
play. They're playing
CVs.
not step up a
Yeah.
little harder now because they're starting to think,
Mm,
all right, I might not be here next season. Which
mm,
club I gotta go to? Let me show them that I can play. AKA what
exactly.
Pogba's been doing since we knew he's leaving.
Mm,
Like he's auditioning for his next club. We all know
yeah.
it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Alan is saying good evening, guys. Good evening to you, Alan, as well. Marcus say, yeah, he comes right back into the team. Uh, I can't remember who we were talking about, but I know this comment is
Ronaldo.
consecutive.
He's talking about
Ronaldo, right?
Yeah.
Ronaldo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ronaldo. Yeah.
Alan is saying that he trained this week, so he will be back for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Marcus, then I expect Everton to play like prime
Yes.
Barcelona.
Yes.
Yeah. Because this is very similar to, again. I go back to FIFA. You know that you're playing FIFA, right? And you will beat some big team, but some little small peb will come, and all of a sudden the game will decide you can't win. You can't win today. All of a sudden. That I am telling you, I am very afraid. I'm very afraid for this game because
But
you know.
let's be serious. Let's be serious, guys. Man, Everton are in
No, I
shit
am
streak.
serious.
No.
No,
But
but I
Everton
am
are in
serious.
Everton are in shit
But
streak. We have to
so
win this
so you
game.
could say that, but how many times have United done this where we play well against a big team, then it's one of the relegation sides, and we sit there and be like, oh, it won't be that big a deal. All of a sudden, that
Hmm.
team steps up and plays out of their mind against us. How many
Yeah.
times have we seen it? And let's
Hmm.
be honest, the mental strength of a lot of players on our side right now is not that good.
No,
Yeah, because
it don't take much.
Even with that sports psychologist in there now, still
nah,
not that good.
that's a joke.
So
We got our asses handed to us by Watford. We barely beat Norwich because of a penalty,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And
mhm,
a
Hmm.
Leicester that was not informed did the
No.
double over us, but they got 4 points on us,
mhm.
Right.
right? So, but I mean, Everton is playing so bad, so bad.
Yes.
Yes, but I feel that Frank will have them fired up for this game somehow, and especially with them knowing they're probably going down, they're gonna want to have that one last thing in there.
Mm. Yeah,
These, these,
because
these guys just got beat by Burnley.
no, but if you watch their fixtures after us, I think they have teams around them, and I think I believe that
Everton?
we are the hardest team that get a play until the end. I'm not sure.
No, I think Everton have to play Liverpool and Arsenal again.
Right. So right to them, Liverpool is as well as well. That's Liverpool. So fine, we will
As a wash
lose.
off. Yeah.
Right. Arsenal, they could try and fight for Arsenal.
Yeah.
But we are the team who are so up and down, you know. You never know. You never know.
All right. Let's see what some of the comments are saying. Alan is saying, never happened, guys. 2-1 to Manchester United. Bruv, I'll take that. I just want a W. Just want a W. Um, Alan is saying, remember, guys, we're just 3 points behind. 3 points and a game in hand behind.
Ah.
Let
Mhm.
me just correct you there, right? So remember, guys, we're just 3 points behind, so we have to go for it to get top four. Boy, I checked out of getting top four long ago, man. So
Mhm.
um Mark Lewis is also saying we are serious every time we play a team that is playing crap. They come and play the game of their lives against us. Yo, it's very true, boy. Very, very true.
Mhm.
And then last comment here by Martin. Gentlemen, are there any one player at the United Academy
Garnacho,
who might
Garnacho,
impact?
Charlie McNeil could be another one. He's out on loan right now, but James Garner.
Yeah.
Those are a few of the names that I think through the academy who could impress.
I think Hannibal
Mhm.
as well too.
Hannibal, yeah,
Yeah.
Hannibal too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Hannibal. So yeah, so the names we mentioned just now are James Garner, Charlie McNeil, Hannibal.
Mhm.
Um,
Garnacho.
Yeah, Ganacho, yeah.
now if and Ganacho, yeah. Now if we're talking academy that are in the first team, I would say Alanga per se.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah. Um, coming down to the end of the segment, we're gonna do top shotter and Boo Boo Man of the week. Right now,
Mhm.
for anyone who doesn't know what this segment is about, it's about a, the top shotter of the week is the person who's having a great week. You know, anything they do or say, is turning to goal or is getting the attention of everybody and they're liking it, right? And that's the top shotter, right? Boo Boo Man of the week is this man is having a dreadful week. Anything he does or say does not go right. And it's not only a man, it could be a woman, could be a team, could be a situation. That's that. But we're just calling it the Boo Boo Man and the top shotter of the week, right? Um, if you want to start, Devin, who will be your top shotter and Boo Boo Man of the week?
Well, they all come from the same match. So I mean, Karim Benzema. It's
Mhm.
back to back knockout stage hat tricks. The only person I think who did that before that was Ronaldo. The
Mhm.
man, the man, he's like a wine. Like he's getting better with age. And so for somebody who's been there for, I think he went to Real Madrid in 2009. and he's now getting the recognition that he should have been getting from the beginning. He stepped up
Mm.
and he showed his worth. That France team in the World Cup with him leading the line is going to be very dangerous, I think. And he showed up and he did not disappoint. The Boo Boo Man for this week, I was debating between either Christian Pulisic or Edward Mendy, and I think I would have to go with Mendy because Mendy turned into Luis Karius out there for that match. But Pulisic was very close to being there as well too, coming off, stepping up big time for the U.S. to qualify for the World Cup, come back to Chelsea, and then I seen that you were still hungover from your celebrations.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I think I would just have to say Mendy for Boo Boo Man and Benzema for top shotter.
I got two boo boo men in mind. Robert, you want me to go first or you go?
No, you good. You good.
Okay. So I'll start with my top shotter. And it's funny because I got two top shotters as well too, right? But
Mm.
I don't want to mention the top shotter and then make the boo boo man obvious, right? So I get pick a top shotter from a different match and a boo boo man from a different match, right? So my top shotter is Villarreal.
Okay.
Villarreal were able to get a
Yeah,
1-love over Bayern Munich,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. So
No. I know what's sad. No one cares. You
yeah,
know why no one cares? Because you no, I mean you would think right that Villarreal beat by Munich, right? But no one cares. Everyone talking about Benzema, and
correct.
no one cares about Villarreal. No one cares. It's sad, you know.
True, true, true.
Mm-hmm.
And I got two boo boos of the week, right? But I got a
Mm-hmm.
feeling or that Robert gonna mention one. Gonna mention one, so I'm gonna
Mm.
mention the other one, right? But
All
if
right.
Robert does not mention that one, I'm gonna
You'll
come
bring
back
it
to
back.
the other
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can mention my other boo boo, which is Atletico Madrid, and I'll
Hmm.
tell you why. For the
zero
first
shots on
time,
target.
for the first time
Zero
in
shots.
business history, these
Yeah.
guys had about 20 men in the box
Mm-hmm.
defending,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's not like Manchester City were like passing around the ball in that area. It's just that okay, you come to us, but these guys had about 20 men defending, right? These guys also had no shots on target for the first time in a Champions League match.
Yep.
Right?
None.
That is
None.
absolutely disgusting. Even us, Manchester United, we had a poor run out versus Manchester City at Etihad, but we still scored a goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that is my boo boo of the week. Before you go, Robert, I'm gonna see what some of the comments are saying with regards to boo boo and top shotter. Martin is saying my boo boo is Chelsea. They suck. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Alan is saying Benzema is his top shotter and boo boo man is Chelsea. True.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you Robert.
All right. My top shotter is Patrick Vieira.
Thank you very much. I
Yeah,
knew Robert was going there.
yeah.
That is why I mentioned
That's a
Atletico
good, that's a
Madrid.
good pick.
That is
Yeah.
why I mentioned. I told you that I had a mind. I said Robert is going to mention something along the lines of Crystal Palace. I said, you know what? Let me
Yes.
switch over to
Yes.
Atletico Madrid because I know
Yes.
Robert going to mention that.
Yes.
But no, Robert. Tell,
Yes.
tell us why Patrick
But
Vieira is
listen,
your top shotter.
this man, right?
Hmm.
Everyone talked about Gerard and whoever else. This man, right, has been winning games very quietly
Under the radar.
under the
Yeah.
radar for weeks. The man beat who he beat in the FA Cup. He beat some team in the FA Cup. I can't
He
remember
beat,
who.
he beat Everton bad too.
Right, 4-0,
Yeah.
right? He won before. He won before. This guy has been winning games very, very quietly, and nobody is giving this man his flowers.
Yeah.
Nobody. And I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because I hate him. I hate Patrick. I hate it because I mean, as a Manchester fan, I despise Patrick. I did, But as a manager, you have to give Patrick his due. The man went to City and beat them. The he to me should be the manager of the month. Up to now, he has never got one yet. To me,
No.
this guy has been showing the league very slowly and surely that this man is serious. And if we were some smart people and we really wanted to go and stick it to Arsenal, we should go, right? And hire Patrick in about 5 years. 5 years time, just hire him and say, yeah, you know what I mean? So Patrick Vieira.
I want you can put Keno as his assistant. you can imagine.
The carnage. Hey.
It's pure bacchanal, boy.
Yeah, you understand? Because remember, the guys who will be, they've been with Ten Haag for 4 or 5 years. Had the skills, physical thing. And then
we would never finish a match with 11 men if we had the 2 on it together.
But it will be great. It will be beautiful. Every game will be box office. Every game, box office.
Is your boo-boo man the obvious now?
Yes, Arsenal.
Okay, just checking.
Arsenal.
Just checking.
Because I watched, AFTV, and these men could not gripe because their legend beat them bad licks, right? Because everyone assumed that would have come there and give Arsenal 3 points. No,
Nah.
to hell with you. He don't care about you. No, so Arsenal are my boo-boos. And to see men tripping out about why. Meanwhile, because this guy is a manager, So, I mean, Arsenal, boo-boos of the week. Him, them, the fans, Ty, all of them.
Yeah.
Bunch of boo-boos. All of them. All.
Oh,
All.
man.
All of them.
We have now hit we're a little bit over the hour mark. This has been another great show on a Thursday called the United Hour. Robert and Devin, thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to come and have a discussion about Ten Hag and potential in and outs, and also Boo and Top Shot of the week, right? This is Big Phil and the United Hour. We are out. Let me see if we can get at least one more comment, right? Robert, I say to stop right there. Patrick at Manchester is a no. That would be a boo-boo man. Oh man, we get end on that note, man. Well said, Alan. Well said, man. Well said. Hey, if you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow.